All right, we're back. What's going on, folks? It's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff happening, and we got some time to kill, and we got some time to address a few things. I mean, I feel like some of y'all deserve some type of knowledge, so we're gonna give it to you. A lot of my people say, you already talked about it, you've already spoken on it. Why do you keep addressing it? For the people that really care, for the folks that are misinformed. I feel compelled to say something. And we'll first start off by saying that I am not perfect. I never told you I was perfect. I don't even give off that impression that I'm perfect. I make mistakes. I say shit. I do stuff that, I ain't perfect about. And I feel that I've already made that clear. But we're going to hop right into it. I want you guys to share this live. Let it go viral. Sir Maejor and Full Effect, we are here. We're going to have an in-depth conversation about the man, the myth, and the living legend. You say, man, you full of yourself. Well, I got to think highly of myself. We're going to leave a legacy behind. I want you guys to share this live. Please share it in your Facebook groups. We are going to be having an in-depth conversation on who Sir Maejor is, what his agenda is, and how does he maneuver? Why does he do the stuff that he do the way that he do it? Share this live. We're gonna get right into it, guys. We're gonna get right into it. We're gonna have some fun with this too. We're gonna have some fun. So I want y'all to share this in Atlanta, Georgia, in Toledo, Ohio, in Michigan, in Illinois. I want this to go viral. You want to know who Sir Maejor is? God dang it, let's talk about it. Okay? Let's talk about it. Now, it's important to know, first, to understand me, is to know that I am a Gemini. It's important if you guys know about constellations, if you know about energy, if you know about the universe, if you believe in zodiac signs. I'm a Gemini. That's first and foremost. Born May 28, 1988. My favorite color is green. I love the color of green. I love all shades of green. Let's see. I'm born and raised in Toledo, Ohio. I lived in Atlanta, Georgia for about 10 years. Became extremely high profile and very instrumental to fighting for justice on a bunch of national high-profile cases. I am articulate in certain areas. My mother is a legend, a living legend. Her name is Twyla Page. She is on Facebook as well. So y'all can say hi to my mom. Don't be creepy, but just say hey to her. Let her know she raised a king, unapologetically black, straight, fearless, bold king. I grew up on the teachings of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I don't subscribe to any religion. I'm a spiritual man. See, back when black folks, when we was in Africa, we didn't have religion. We were spiritual folk. Now, are there things that the Minister Louis Farrakhan teach that I 100% agree on? Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. See, the one thing about the minister is Minister Louis Farrakhan has been preaching the same thing for 50 plus years to black people on how we should live and eat and conduct ourselves. And I've subscribed to the best of my ability to that. Okay? So that's important to know. I used to hate having to go to the mosque. But as you get older, you look towards the wisdom and guidance that you were taught as a minor. Okay? So now that you guys got some of that history, let's talk about Sir Maejor in Toledo. When I was living in Toledo, I went by the name of T. Page. I was involved with the music scene. working at a radio station, working for some DJs. I was working as a publicist, Bash at the Bay, Hutch Daddy Dollar. Worked with some artists, the 419ers, my brother Nook, or cousin, I should say. What's up, Nook? Crystal, what's going on? And so eventually I left, moved out to Atlanta. I didn't know anyone out in Atlanta. Matter of fact, I said Atlanta would be the last place that I would go. And the reason why I moved out there is because some artists that I was managing at the time said that they wanted to move to Atlanta, tasked me with finding a house for the group, and they ended up backing out. And I said, you know what? I'm like a kid in a candy shop. You can't tell me we going to the zoo and then all of a sudden we catch a flat tire. Well, if we catch a flat tire, damn it, you better fix that so we can still go to the zoo as scheduled. So I ended up going out to Atlanta by myself. Went out there on a limb. Had maybe about $500 or $900 in my pocket. And went out to Atlanta. About $900. Went out to Atlanta. And made a name for myself. Was in school, criminal justice. I have, right now where we are is I have 1 year left on my bachelor's degree. And then I intend to go to law school. Okay? So I was out in Atlanta for 10 years doing my thing. Involved with TV and film, acting. As many of you guys know, I was on the most influential show called American Horror Stories. Did a couple episodes with them. Got paid some really good money. Became very popular. When the show aired overnight, instant fame. I loved the opportunity that the producers, that the directors gave me on American Horror Stories. Coven, to be exact. I had a ball. I did, subsequently after that small role, it was a feature role. So that means I was featured talent, which means I got featured talent money. And I had some great exposure. It was fun. Then I went off and did some other shows. I did a TV show called, or a movie called, I was featured as talent in a show called Need for Speed. I did some other stuff with some Tyler Perry projects. I did some other movies and stuff like that. Okay? Now, when white folks give you a job, acting is a job. It's a performance. It's production. It's work. They think that you're only supposed to do what they want you to do. When I got involved with activism, you know, I had some folks say, hey, you know, you can't be doing that, blah, blah. You shouldn't be dealing with that. You know, because I grew up pro-black everything. If you know my mother, Twyla Page, look her up. You know, I was raised on this foundation. I didn't just start it because Black Lives Matter was popular. I've been doing this from yay high. You better ask about me. You better ask people that know me, that watched me grow up. I used to have the dreadlocks when I was a kid. I celebrated Kwanzaa all my life. We didn't celebrate Christmas. Okay? So let's debunk. Oh, Black Lives, no. I was doing this before Black Lives Matter. I was canvassing and knocking on doors for my cousin who was a magistrate. Helping with campaigns. Joining the picket line. And I hated doing it when I was younger. But we didn't have an option when Twyla Page told you to do something. So let that be known, people. Twyla Page, Twila. Last name is Page. That's my mother, my partner in crime. So you attack me, you attacking her. And she's a legend in the city of Toledo, Ohio. Okay? Let that be known. My mother, Twyla, made sure that she raised black men who were very intelligent, who knew their history, black history. Okay? Who didn't just go based on the rhetoric that's out there in today's society. She made sure that we knew our own history. So my teacher couldn't teach me black history because I already knew it. A public school system couldn't teach me what I already knew and learned at home. That's a black, powerful woman. So understand that when you're dealing with me. Moved out to Atlanta. Did American Horror Stories. Okay? Still auditioning for roles because once you do one show, you're just as big as your last hit. I had good management. I had good Yeah, I had a good management company that was backing me, that was for me, that was giving me great roles and great opportunities. When I got involved with activism, and the activism before I got involved with Black Lives Matter was Cop Watch. It's called Cop Watch, COP Watch, or they call it cop blocking. Now, for all you idiots out there that don't pay attention and that can't read or don't read and choose to smear me, you should go check out my second YouTube page called Cop Block Atlanta. Cop Block Atlanta. Not Cock Block, Cop, C-O-P, Block Atlanta. That's where I decided that I was going to hold rogue and out-of-control police officers accountable. Yes. The same guy that got off American Horror Stories decided that he was going to hold dirty police officers accountable. Now, when I was doing this, it's important to know that I was licensed by the state of Georgia in security. I had what's called a blue card. They're not blue, they're actually white, but they call them blue card, or guard cards, as known as in Ohio and maybe Michigan, I believe. But I was licensed by the state to carry a firearm. I qualified. I have certificates. And I was also a registered, certified fugitive recovery agent, which means in layman's terms, a bounty hunter. Registered by the state. Okay? Registered by the state. Now, with that said, in order to be registered by the state, that means the government will have to give you a certificate or a license. I had mine. And I still got it. I can produce it to this day. Now, when the media decides to smear Sir Maejor, they not going to tell you all this. Because you got to remember, they only got a 3-minute or 5-minute window to do a story. They don't got 30 minutes to do this long, drawn-out story. So they have to do a story that is going to sell and get you to click on it when you see it on the internet. It's called clickbait. So legally what they did was they put the facts in. Yes, there was an arrest. Yes, they were caught on tape. But guess what? They're not going to give you all the facts to the story. They're going to give you what they want you to see. Because everyone has an agenda. So when you're responsible for writing up a bunch of complaints on dirty police officers, I'm talking about complaints ranging anywhere from 2 to 5 pages, 2 to 10 pages. So prior to the police impersonation charges, there were multiple complaints on dirty police officers. Now, don't believe anything I say. Do your own fact checking. Go do an open records request. See, I want you to do your homework now. I don't want you to believe nothing that I tell you. Go do your own homework. Go do a open records request or a Freedom of Information Act request or a Georgia public records request to the Atlanta Police Department. And you're going to do your request under 2 different names. Sir Maejor Page is one name. Tyree Page is another name. Or you can do Sergeant S.M. Page. Okay? Now, if you really want to break this down, let's break it down. When I would do my complaints on dirty cops, sometimes in the signature section, it says Sergeant S.M. Page. Why would I call myself a sergeant? Because I work for a paramilitary security company. I worked for a paramilitary fugitive recovery agency where there was a rank structure. Just like in the Nation of Islam, they have captains and supreme captains. There's a rank structure in almost everything that you do. Let that be known. Now, with all these complaints that I had on these police officers, and we're not talking low-level police officers. We're talking about sergeants, majors, lieutenants, field training officers. I would have complaints on any and every cop that I came in contact that I believe was wrong. Now, when you look at these complaints are going to range from police officers being discourteous, police officers calling me a cop impersonator. See, because look, most cops hate security officers, especially the ones that got everything that they got, whether it be a gun belt, radios, body cameras, squad cars. Most police officers hate security officers that look like them or look better than them. It is a fact that most cops hate bounty hunters because a bounty hunter can do stuff that regular cops can't do. And I had no problem telling a local cop that they had no jurisdiction. And they hate that because they feel like, damn, we had to go to 21 weeks or 6 weeks or 2 months worth of police academy, and you only got your shit done in six hours or 3 weeks. So now there's that divide of jealousy. Police officers have to wear police uniforms. Bounty hunters don't. So now they think, oh, you walk around like you the DEA or you walk around like you a specialized task force. No, it's just that I had credentials that allow me to do what I was doing. Mind you, when you carry OC spray or if you use it, or if you carry a taser and you use it, or you carry a baton and you use it, you have to be certified. Every police officer that carries everything on their duty belt, they got to be certified to use it and have it. Sir Maejor was certified. So not only did I have a license by the state, I was certified to have all the equipment that I use. But the media ain't going to tell you all this. They're not going to tell you this. Now, you can also contact the attorneys that represented me on all these cases. You can contact Attorney Jill Griggs, who's the second vice president of the NAACP in Atlanta, Georgia, who defended me on all those charges. Contact Jill Griggs. I hired Jill Griggs, gave him $5,000. If you don't believe me. I also hired, for Toledo charges, a fine attorney whose name is Attorney Sarah Driftmeyer. Hi, Sarah. I know you're watching. Hope you're watching. But Sarah Driftmeyer was my attorney, and she represented me on everything in Toledo. And she can tell you. Okay? So let's go back a little bit. That's just if you do, because I don't want you to believe anything I say. I want you to do your own research. Go before the arrest ever happened, and it happened in October 2014. Before that ever happened, I had a shitload of complaints in on these dirty cops. And when you start going after the captains and the lieutenants, come on, you don't think that they're going to target you? You don't think the police union is going to, because listen, when you file a complaint on a cop, it stays on a record. That's the difference. It's like an arrest record. When you get arrested or you have any contact with the police, there's a database on each time you come in contact with the police. They can see that. A prosecutor can see it. A judge can see it. Your DA, which is your prosecutor. Attorneys can see it. Sometimes members of the public can see it. So an arrest record means nothing. You have to look at the convictions. Look at a conviction versus an arrest record. Because you can get arrested for anything. A police officer can walk up to you right now and charge you with rape. Charge you with aggravated burglary. Charge you with robbery. Charge you with a stabbing. Attempt murder. So a police officer can arrest you for anything. They have to find you guilty in a court of law. Now, there's a YouTube channel that I have called Cop Block Atlanta. Now, the same equipment that they said I impersonated the police with is the same equipment you see me dogging the police out with. So now I got this camera with all this duty gear on, and I'm dogging and cursing out cops. You don't think that they're going to try to target me? You don't think that they're going to get their police union to try to go after me and put pressure on district attorneys to go after me? That's what happened. Now, through the grace of God, I got the charges beat. I beat the charges, got them dismissed. Now, why did that happen? I had my prosecutor in Atlanta tell me, I don't believe you did this. But I have a job, and this was a black woman, and this broke my heart. She said, right in front of my attorney, I don't believe you did this, but I have a job to do. I believe you were poking the bear in the eye, basically fucking with the police, and they flipped it on you. And that is what happened. Unfortunately, it happens. When I was in jail for the one night that I was there, I called my mother crying. I asked Twyla Page, did it happen? I said, Mom, I don't think that I'm going to be able to beat these cases. And I'm not about to give this prison my life. Mom, I think I'm going to just go ahead and take myself out. And she said, boy, shut up. I called my attorney, Joe Griggs. Asked Joe Griggs, did this conversation happen? I called Joe Griggs. I said, Gerald, man, they trying to frame me. They're trying to set me up. I'm going to just kill myself. And you asked Joe Griggs, did I have this conversation? And I'm trying not to cry now. Because this shit, it's serious. This is real shit. People's lives are ruined by dirty cops. I was going to commit suicide over bogus charges because I said to myself, I'm not giving these motherfuckers 30 years of my life, because I was facing 30 years for these kind of impersonation charges, and it never happened. So I was prepared to end myself so that I didn't have to be subject to this bullshit. I believe in police accountability. I believe in government accountability. And I was willing to kill myself. I was this close. If it wasn't for my mother, or my attorney, Joe Griggs. And I call Joe Griggs from time to time, periodically, and I thank him. Even though Joe and I, we see differences because it's a political thing on social justice issues. We had rival groups or whatever. I call Joe every once in a blue moon. I'll call and I'll just cry and thank him. And thank him, because Joe Griggs and my mother are the reason why I didn't kill myself over these bullshit charges. So, with that said, try not to cry now, shit. This shit is real. I mean, this shit ruined my life. I lost so much weight when I was going through these charges. I didn't leave my house. It completely changed my life. The dirty cop that did it, there was a couple of them. Officer Green, I think what his name was, Officer Green, Officer Sergeant, I think his name was Kevin Knapp. And it was another guy. It's all in the records, though. The stuff is out on YouTube. And there was another dude from New York. He was on the Atlanta Police Department. He came from New York, young dude. And ever since then, I started busting these cops right after that. So with all that said, years later, I ended up beating the charges. I had body camera footage that exonerated a lot of this, that made, that cleared me to some degree. And the DA and the prosecution team didn't want to look stupid on the record. Because now if I was to, if we went to trial and all the evidence came out and I won at trial, then I would turn around and sue the police department. And the DA said, listen, I'll make you an offer. She said, listen, I want you to sign this waiver that you won't sue us. That you won't sue us. And Gerald told me I couldn't talk about this stuff until after the charges were done. But they wanted me to sign a waiver. The district attorney's office wanted me to sign a waiver saying that I would not sue the Atlanta Police Department for framing me and setting me up. Then they wanted me to write a letter, a letter to say that I did it, that I committed these offenses. Okay? Now, if they had a great conviction, and if they knew that they would beat these charges off rip, why would they offer me a deal? Why would they have me sign something saying that I wouldn't sue the prosecution? That I wouldn't sue the Atlanta Police Department or sue the DA's office for malicious prosecution. Okay? These are things you must ask yourself. But again, the media is not going to report this stuff. So, the charges were dropped. The charges were dropped and they were sealed by the court. Why did they seal the record? And there was a reporter who said, well, why did y'all seal the record? Because at that time, I didn't file anything to seal the record. Okay? Now, the media reported that I was arrested 3 times for impersonation of the police. That's false. I was arrested 4 times. But the fourth time was never... The fourth time never made it to court. The district attorney in DeKalb County looked at the report and said, you know what? They're framing this dude, and we don't want no parts of it. Sometimes, every once in a while, you get a good district attorney who will read the facts and say, look, we not going to do this. We're not doing this. Plus, I had a camera that was rolling, and the officer really didn't think that I was recording him. And that's what helped me. So to cover it, when you're going after the police, I'm gonna tell you, cover your ass, because they'll try to get you. And if you're not smart enough, unfortunately, they're gonna get you. So Gerald Griggs and my mother really helped me through this difficult time. And there was a lady named we ain't gonna say that. So it's folks that really helped me. Now, what you read in a police report don't make it true. How many times we know somebody, there's a police report that's inaccurate or not true, right? And sometimes you got to go back to the officer and make them correct it. Well, just because there's a police report don't make it true. Just because a police officer says something in a report, cops lie all the time. They lie all the time in police reports. Hell, when we see police officers murder black people, and then you compare the police report, we give the police report a benefit of the doubt, but then when that body camera come out, there's an inconsistency. The police report is completely different from what that body camera shows. Police officers lie all the time. Now, it's not to condemn and say all cops are bad. We're not saying that, because I know quite a few damn good ones. But I would tell you that there's a police report where it says that Sir Maejor had a black woman handcuffed at a gas station. You damn right I did. And I had a legal right. I wasn't arrested for false imprisonment. They didn't arrest me for that. No, I had a legal right to do so. It was private property, and the police got mad. The reason why they arrested me, because there was a time when I was like an Eric Mays. I wasn't too nice to police, so I would tell them, get the fuck off the property. And that's how I talked to them. So the police was like, all right, cool. You want to act like an asshole? We gonna show you. So never once are they saying that I pulled someone over saying, freeze, lights and sirens, freeze, dirtbag, I'm the police. They not saying that. They didn't say that I had something on that said FBI. They didn't say I had anything on that said ATF or Atlanta Police. They're saying you had on this equipment and you had nothing on that said you weren't any of that. So because you've been a smart ass, we're going to lock you up for this. And that's how they got me. That's how they got me. It wasn't like I was racing through traffic with lights and sirens, or riding a bike that said police, or none of that, because that would be a clear conviction. Now, let's talk about the laws in the state of Georgia. In the state of Georgia, we have what's called a mandatory minimal sentence. Mandatory minimal sentence, which means that if you are charged with certain offenses, there is a mandatory statute law that says a judge has to give you X amount of years based on that offense. So regardless if I got a black judge that agreed with me or a white judge that agreed with me, if I was found guilty, I was going to prison for the mandatory minimal sentence. So the news is reporting that I was arrested 3 times for impersonation of the police. 3 times. That's what they're saying. It was actually 4, but they're saying 3 times. Each cop impersonation charge is a mandatory minimal sentence of 5 years in prison, not jail, prison. So 3 mandatory minimal sentences. So that's 15 years off rip. That's just for those particular charges. Now, when I was arrested, the charges were stacked. So they had carrying a firearm and commission of a crime. That's another few years in prison. This and that, blah, blah, woo-doo, right? So all these charges, and you telling me I never served 2 days I'm telling you, I've never served 2 days in jail for those charges. Never served 2 days in jail. These charges came in 2014. I am 31 now. Never been a convicted felon, right? Never been a convicted felon. In 2015, in 2014, I was living in Atlanta for about 10 years. 10 years. Never had a felony, but all of a sudden in 2014, I'm going to just go catch my first felony. What sense does that make? I am telling you that I was well known in Atlanta, and not just in Atlanta, but in the state of Georgia. They use all my videos on YouTube. They use that in the Atlanta Police Training Academy. They use those videos in the Georgia State Highway Patrol Academy. In Clayton County, they use my videos on YouTube, Cop Block Atlanta. They use those videos all over Georgia. I'm known in a lot of states for my beliefs on how to deal with police. Because not only this, I would teach black men who were felons, who were drug dealers, I would teach them their rights, their constitutional rights. How did I do that? Well, I'd be outside with the same duty gear that they said I impersonated the police with. I'd be outside telling people how to interact with the police. Listen, if the police roll up on you, don't say a word. And they hate that. Here are the 3 things I would teach you to say to the police. Do you suspect me of committing a crime? That's the first thing you ask, because that's like saying, motherfucker, what's your probable cause? Do you suspect me of committing a crime? What crime do you suspect me of committing? Sir, am I being detained or am I free to go? Those are the only 3 things you ever ask or answer to a police. You don't answer none of their questions because their job is to build a case against you. And because I teach that and taught that to people that the police wanted to target, they hated me. So they got to get rid of me somehow. Now, the police said I impersonated the police with all this duty gear. If you go to the YouTube videos, you'll see me doing what's called street activism, or you'll see me walking the streets, correcting or confronting police officers, yelling at them, holding them accountable, and I had a body camera on. So I walk up on black cops, white cops, and hold their ass accountable. And they hated it. They hated my soul. But I was a black brother that, I get in, I stick and move. I stick and move, and that's the thing. When they can't beat you, they always find a way to try to set you up. So, they can't say I'm a drug dealer. Never been arrested for selling drugs. Never been arrested for having dope. They can't say I'm a gangbanger because I don't associate with gangbangers. I don't wear gang colors. I don't do none of that. They can't say that I'm a bank robber, none of that. So what can they say about an intellectual brother who hold their ass accountable, who be getting them in trouble, getting them fired, getting them suspended, getting the city lawsuits? They got to get a motherfucker like me out the way. So what they can only do is say, he got this duty gear on. He never told us he was the police, but we're going to go with the assumption that he is. He led us to believe it, that he was. No, everybody in Atlanta knew I was a security guard. And in the hood, they knew I was a security guard, didn't take no shit. But I was set up. And unfortunately, it happens. It happens. When you're doing activism, this shit happens. So, let's talk about Atlanta Black Lives Matter. Let's talk about Atlanta Black Lives Matter real quick. While I was going through these charges, I called 2 people. I called Mary Hooks and I called Dre Norman Love. And I said, hey, let's start a Black Lives Matter. And they said, well, we already starting one, Black Lives Matter was not a formal chapter. It was not an official group. Hell, if 3 people got together and said that they Black Lives Matter, damn it, that's what it was. Black Lives Matter in Atlanta, the one that's official now, they only got official after I left and started my own group. Okay, let's let that be known. So in Atlanta, I joined this Black Lives Matter group. And because I was very popular, I brought more than half of the people that came to the meeting. I brought a lot of them to the meeting. And when we get to this meeting, we got all these LGBT folks walking in. They come, walk around with wigs on and dresses on. Leopard print leggings, talking about some girl, what's the tea? And all the brothers like, yo, I thought this was a Black Lives Matter meeting. What the hell you bring me to, Major? I'm like, shit, I don't know, nigga. I thought this was a Black Lives Matter meeting. Right? So we all tripping out. You got black women that were in the meeting. Like, yo, I got my babies here. I got my children here. I don't want my kids exposed to this. This is literally what black women were saying. And the LGBT folk had an issue with that. They would do for 50 minutes, we had to talk about gender pronouns, he, she, her, they, them. So basically everybody had to go around the room. There's about 100-something people in the room. They had to go around the room and talk about our gender pronouns. And we like, yo, what does sexuality have to do with Black Lives Matter? Like, yeah, we recognize that everybody's different. Yeah, we recognize that things happen to everybody. But why does your sexuality matter? Why you being transgender, when a cop kill you, they not shooting you because you gay? When the police roll up on you and pull you over, they ain't pulling you over because you're homosexual or you're heterosexual or you're cisgender. The police don't give a damn about that. They give a damn if you black or white. That's a fact. Sandra Bland wasn't pulled over because she was a transgender. You're like, wait, Sandra Bland was transgender? My point exactly. No one knew. The police didn't know. They pulled her over because she was a black woman. Facts, big facts. So, many people that attended that first meeting, majority of half of them stopped coming to the meeting. Because you had black women that said, listen, I don't want my kids exposed to the LGBT agenda. You had black men saying, we don't care about all that. We need to be fighting for black lives. So because I brought everybody, and I was the only straight guy that kept going to the meetings. And I would say, listen, we're turning people off and we're losing people because of this, sexuality. We recognize that everyone's different. Let's not bring sexuality in it. Let's find our common denominator on what makes us the same. And that's us all being black. What divides us, if we start talking about what divides us, if you create an organization called Black Lives Matter designed to fight for black people, but yet you are pushing the religion agenda, or you start talking about sexuality, or you start talking about this or that, or money, or that stuff is going to divide folks. People wasn't joining Black Lives Matter because of sexuality. So you had majority of half of the people, they stopped going to the meetings. So then the meetings started dying out. Then they decided we was going to revamp the group and do another meeting at another church. Mind you, the first meeting, the LGBT folk was in that room cursing, saying damn and shit, and cussing all in the church. So that was another issue why the pastors didn't want Black Lives Matter in their church. Another reason why Black Lives Matter started getting demonized was because Black Lives Matter, the other group, what they would do is they would create posters, and I didn't agree with this. I understood, the position, but I didn't agree with it. Black Lives Matter, the LGBT folks would create these posters and say, hey, we got a general body meeting, basically a meeting open to the public, and they start putting on the flyers, no white people allowed. And that was on all their signs, no white folks allowed. Well, I understood what their intent was. You can't do that and then use a church to have your meeting, because churches don't discriminate people on coming into a church. First of all, they can't legally do it because churches operate on what? A 501c3. So a church cannot in good faith participate or allow that to happen. And that's what was happening in all the Atlanta Black Lives Matter meetings. So here there was the divide internally in the group. So one day I spoke up at a church and I said, listen, I understand we're all different. Because there was another meeting that we had where black women kept speaking out and black men were speaking out. And I said, and you guys can confirm with Gerald Rose from Toledo, Ohio. He's with the National, what group is with Gerald? National New Order Human Rights Organization. And Joe Rose is a good brother of mine. I've helped Joe Rose with his organization, and Joe Rose is a good brother. Now, him and I may disagree on tactics and political ideology, but that's still my brother. Joe Rose was in that meeting, and a couple of brothers that rode with Joe was in that meeting. And when I got up and said that, I was shunned for saying that we're all different and we don't need to focus on sexuality. So people start trying to say, well, maybe you should leave the meeting if you feel that way. And I said, well, if you're going to put me out, then I'll leave. So I decided to leave the group. I decided to walk away from that, because how are you going to create an organization saying Black Lives Matter, but then you start dividing the group up, talking about which Black Lives Matter are more important to you? Like, I don't believe in creating Black Lives Matter and then centering sexuality around the group or religion. Because that's what divides us. Everyone has their own belief. Gerald Rose from Toledo, Ohio, from the New Order National Human Rights Group, he was in that meeting at the church. And Gerald Rose took issue that the fact that they was asking people to leave because of that. So Gerald Rose said, if you're going to make Sir Maejor leave, I'm leaving too. And so a couple of brothers walked out that meeting because that's just wrong to do that. So after that, I was invited back and I just said, listen, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this because I don't like the direction it's going. And that's my prerogative. That's my choice. And I made the choice to leave. Now, I was asked by a lot of people to create another Black Lives Matter chapter. And I said, no, I'll just probably create my own organization. And the people, you know, they kept contacting me saying, no, you need to start a different Black Lives Matter group and we're going to join it. So I said, all right, I gave it some thought and I said, you know what, let's do it. You know, when I put my mind to it and I really put my mind to it, I go all the way. So I said, you know what, we're going to do it. I created a Black Lives Matter group called Black Lives Matter Greater Atlanta, and they were Black Lives Matter Atlanta. One of my homegirls, Miss Tatum, and my boy Patrick, they told me, don't do it. They said, change the name. Dre is going to try to drag you. That's what the LGBT folks do. They're going to try to smear you. They're going to make up all these lies. And I said, well, if they do it, we're going to stand up to and we're going to stand 10 toes down. We're going to create this group and we're going to make it work. Well, not even a week later, everything that Miss Tatum told me and Patrick told me came to fruition. I was like, man, I should have listened, but we were too far deep into it. I said, fuck it, we're gonna go all the way. So now you got these two Black Lives Matter groups at odds. Dre Norman Love was, you know, being that he is a gay male, Mary Hooks is a gay woman, a queer, they call themselves queer. And I always thought the word queer was a derogative term. But, you know, so with that said, they created, you know, they started contacting gay people in media to try to do nasty articles about me. And it didn't work. So they kept pressuring their gay allies to write, white people to write these nasty articles about me. And they began to do it. Article after article after article. Majority of the articles written are by people who are LGBT. Now, Dre Norman Love and Mary Hooks knew that I was going through the cop impersonation charges, which were, again, dismissed. So what Dre and Mary did was they got with the media, and they made the media do a story because I was popular, very popular at the time. Again, we're talking about somebody who just left American Horror Stories, a guy who stands out, who's albino, who's very marketable, someone who's everywhere. You know, when you see me, you know you see me from a mile away. Everyone knows Sir Maejor. So they said, okay, boom, we're going to have to try to figure out a way to discredit him. And they went to the media and had the media do these nasty stories on me. Now, when the media picked up on these stories about these cop impersonation charges, the media picked the story up 6 months after all the charges were dismissed. I'm leading massive marches where I helped lead a march over 60,000 people, okay? So now you got the media covering a story on this high-profile Black Lives Matter head. And people that were doing these stories like Fox News, and Fox News in Atlanta is owned by the real Fox News in New York. So you got folks that got different agendas, and they're trying to slam me, and I didn't let that shit bother me. They pull up to my house with the cameras. You know what? No comment. Talk to my PR director. Have a good day. And I walked in the house and shut the door. A lot of people remember that interview. So, you know, let's talk about this idea that they said that I went into the government. The Capitol with guns and stuff like that. First of all, it wasn't the Capitol, but it was a government building. It was a state building called, I think, the Twin Towers in Atlanta. And I'm downtown in Atlanta, and I got on my green security pants, my black shirt, and I had my duty gear on with my badge that said Fugitive Recovery Agent. And a security guard who don't have all that shit, she's just a regular security guard from Dynamics. Her name is, I forget her name. Her name is Ballard, D. Ballard, I think. She says, hey, do you have a gun license? I said, yes. She said, can I see it? I said, no. She says, why can't? She says, well, I want to see your gun license. I said, I don't even have to show the police my gun license. I said, I don't have to show the police, but I said, I mean, she was like, well, I don't know if you can be in here with that gun. It wasn't the fact that I had all the stuff on. It was the fact that I had a gun and she wanted to see my gun license. And if anybody knows me, I got a little Eric Mays in me sometimes. And I said, no. I don't have to show the police. I have a right to carry my firearm. Now, let's talk about something real quick. When the white folks in Georgia say guns everywhere, y'all remember, y'all can Google that. Guns everywhere bill. It's a bill that was introduced. Where white folks said we want guns to be everywhere and everyone should be armed. Well, damn it, I was armed. I was a black man with a gun. And they didn't like that. So was I legally allowed to be there? Absolutely. So I'm in the state capitol. And I went to the state capitol, and there was a second article done by, and a second story done by Fox 5. And I'm inside the state capitol. I'm in the Secretary of State's office. And I had opened up a business license called the FAST team, called the Fugitive Apprehension Strike Team, or Support Team. That is filed with the Secretary of State. Go do your homework now. The same day they said I went into the Capitol and impersonated the FBI, which is false. First of all, FBI wear suits. They don't wear all that technical gear. That's first lie. Second lie is when you see me on tape, you see me standing by a table. That's the line where the line starts. Now, if I told them I was FBI, I would have met with the commissioner who gives out those licenses. I would have never stood in line. Now, if I'm FBI, I'm not standing in no fucking line. I'm cutting in front of everybody. But that's how you know it's not true. But again, the media is not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you what they want you to know. Now, all these cop impersonation charges were dismissed. Shout out to Gerald Griggs, NAACP attorney who represented me. Now, with all that said, left Black Lives Matter, started my own group. My group was very powerful, very successful, very organized. We had our LLC, we had a 501c3, we had our business license. We were in a commercial building. We were on the 22nd floor. The building looked like Donald Trump's office. My office was very, very, very nice. Very nice. Upscale, upper echelon, fine suits. I'm doing my thug thizzle. We changing policy. We at the state capitol every day. I was a registered lobbyist. We fighting for justice. And when you was doing it on the level that your brother was doing it on, of course they hated me. They hated my soul. They hated every time they saw me. I remember getting poisoned I went to a police event, got poisoned by cops. Been set up and framed by the government. Okay? So it ain't all sexy now. Everybody want to be an activist, but ain't nobody willing to put their life on the line like I have to. Everybody want to be an activist. Everybody want to be seen and heard and want to lead a march. But imagine getting sniped. Imagine being framed and set up in prison. Imagine being shot and killed. Now, thank God I wasn't shot and killed. But there are a lot of activists that have been killed. Y'all remember the Ferguson activist? My brother Darren Seal. He was shot and burned up alive in his car. Activists out of Columbus, Ohio. Black Lives Matter activists killed. Activists all over the country are being murdered. So everybody want to be a goddamn activist, but ain't willing to put in no footwork. How dare you? Now, my civil rights leader, my civil rights father, his name is the Reverend Nathan Knight from the DeKalb. Taught me everything I know. Everything that I know. You can add him on Facebook. He on here. Nathan Knight. Taught me everything I know. So let's talk about it. See, y'all didn't know that I was poisoned by a bunch of cops. I went to an event and was literally poisoned. Sick as a dog. Sick as a dog. My secretary had to come get me. That's how fucked up I was. I was poisoned. It's about 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago, I was poisoned by a bunch of cops. Poisoned. Throwing up, shitting everywhere, yes. Set up and framed by cops, facing 30 years for something you didn't do. Everybody wants to talk about these cop impersonation charges, but y'all didn't know I almost killed myself. I was about to commit suicide over these charges. So everybody think this shit is funny when you see it online. Y'all don't know my story. You don't know my story. Call Jill Griggs and ask him, was I about to kill myself over those cop impersonation charges? My homegirl, Sydney Horton, that would call me every night, fall asleep on the phone with me to make sure I was in good spirits. Her mother, making sure I was in good spirits. Y'all don't know half of the story. So while y'all sharing these stories of he a cop impersonator, it is, y'all don't know what the fuck I've been through. You don't know what the fuck I've been through. Shame on you. And many of y'all talking shit. A lot of y'all, your brother's arrested. Your mama, your mammy done been arrested. Your daddy sitting in prison or been in prison. How dare you cast a judgment on somebody and your whole majority of your families are crooks and criminals who actually did this shit. They wasn't even set up. How many of y'all know Pookie and Ray Ray from the hood that actually did some shit? But y'all ain't gonna talk about that. Y'all know people that done shot people, but you ain't gonna say nothing about that. Y'all know people that done robbed folks, but you ain't gonna say shit about that. But you will attack an activist who gives a fuck. How dare you? Let's move on with the story. I've been responsible and highly instrumental into breaking and busting out high-profile stories that no one gave a fuck about. Making cases and stories go viral, getting people justice, getting people multi-million-dollar lawsuits done. If I touched your case was going viral. If I touched your case, you were going to get justice. I've done 1,000 cases for free. High-profile cases, high-profile stories. When the media wouldn't even touch it. I made them viral, then that's when the media start covering stories. I made the case viral, that's when attorneys finally wanted to get involved with a case. I took in cases to high-profile attorneys, they declined the case. But when I made the case go viral, then it supported their case. Then the court attorneys start calling me and saying, hey, can I get that case? Hey, did you get a lawyer on that case? No, why you want it? Here, you can have it. Attorneys getting millions of dollars to their clients based off of my hard-earned work. But you're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear about that. I done got people millions and millions of dollars. Millions upon millions of dollars. Cases getting settled out for over $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Crackheads getting checks for $50,000, $60,000. I busted out a lot of cases off of my brand, my celebrityism, my platform, my voice, the fact that I have the audacity to speak out on what I believe in, the fact that I don't shut up and can't nobody shut me up. People talk about me, but then they still benefit off my work. They benefit off my presence. Okay? So let's talk about it. Let's keep talking about it because the thing is I never really address stuff. And then when I do address it, it gets swept underneath the rug. But today, I say today's enough. I'm tired of this shit. Today, this is the last time I'll address this shit. I'm sick of it. You can say what you want about me. I don't give a damn. I know one thing. Your ass ain't going to do the shit that I'm doing now. I bet the same motherfuckers talking about me ain't going to get their ass out there on the front line in the freezing cold, in a freezing cold rain, in a blizzard. They not going to stand out there and shut some shit down. You can say whatever you want. The people that run their mouth about me is mad because I didn't kiss their ass. They mad because I turned down the case because I couldn't do it at that time. They mad because I talk about white supremacy. They mad because I didn't got their friends fired from their jobs. I don't give a fuck. You can be mad. You can hate me all you want to. But stop trying to spread lies and trying to recruit people to hate me. That's what I don't like. You can hate me all you want to. But stop lying, spreading these lies, spreading rumors, making up shit that you know ain't true or that can't be proven to be true. And stop recruiting people. You can hate me all you want to. Let's get back to the story. So I'm at the top of my game, getting all these people money, getting all these people justice. I was literally the man. Okay? Doing my thing. I left Atlanta, went to Toledo. Because every week I was getting called to go to Toledo, Ohio, which is my hometown. And people couldn't afford me to be there to fly me in and out. Couldn't afford to take care of my flights, my hotel, because I require hotel. It has to be a certain standard. Just like Reverend Al Sharpton, just like Jesse Jackson, just like any Tariq Nasheed, my brother, just like Umar Johnson, whoever, just like a artist you were booking to perform, if you hire someone, you have to take care of their ground transportation, their hotel, their food, and a stipend. People come out for the low, but you still got to take care of the basic stuff. Well, folks in Toledo couldn't even, and I'm talking about dope boys in Toledo, couldn't even afford that. So what I decided to do was to split my time up, be in Atlanta and Ohio, and do these cases. I was working, doing work in Atlanta and doing work in Toledo. Okay, there was such a need for me to stay in Toledo. I decided to shut my office down and stay in Toledo and do the work. My first day in the city, I ran the SWAT team out of the hood. They were doing fake raids in a black neighborhood, residential neighborhood. I made them stop doing that. I didn't have 1,000 people with me. I don't need 100 people with me. I don't need even 50 people with me. It'd be great to have it. But I ran a SWAT team, and there's a video of it. You can YouTube it. Sir Maejor, or you can find it on Facebook. Sir Maejor runs SWAT team out of Toledo, Ohio. I ran them out the hood. And then had a meeting with the mayor and had a confirmation from Toledo's mayor, Wade Kapsakavich. I call him Lil Wade. Wade said and my boy Head Mac was there. See, I don't just meet with people by myself. I had Head Mac, who was Ron Gooseby. He was with me. And the mayor said that we're not going to allow the police department to do raids or these fake trainings in black neighborhoods. He said, I do agree with you, Sir Maejor. They should be done at a training facility. That's one thing that I did. I led protests in Toledo for Lamar Richardson because I believe that Lamar Richardson, they didn't have to kill him. I didn't say that the shoot wasn't justified. It was a justified shot based on the totality of the circumstances. The fact that he had a gun in his hand. A cop technically doesn't have to wait to get shot. If you got a gun and they tell you to put it down, and you don't, they can legally, justifiably shoot you. Now, my position was, we've seen time and time again when police officers talk, they do everything in their power to talk a white suspect out of killing themselves. Or they'll talk a white suspect out of not getting shot. Like, I don't want to do this. Like when a white suspect runs up on a cop with a knife. I don't want to do this. Put the knife down. You don't want to do this. They do everything possible to preserve a white life. And what I'm saying is that they didn't have to kill Lamar Richardson. And my heart still is for that family. Shout out to the Richardson family. Shout out to my girl Pinky. I love you so much, Pinky. You know I love you. Dime Hair. What up, Dime? That's my sis. So with all that, now I'm not saying I ain't perfect. I make mistakes. I say shit I probably shouldn't say. I'm not always politically correct. Sometimes I say what the fuck is on my mind. And my mind be like, you need to stop cussing. But see, I get so passionate. And don't confuse my passion with anger. I'm a passionate brother. I'm passionate. I give a fuck. And I think there needs to be more black people like me. More white people like me. I'm unapologetic. That means I'll say what the fuck I got to say and won't give a damn on how you felt or how you get offended. Because right is right, wrong is wrong, and fair is motherfucking fair. So moving along. I moved to Toledo, Ohio to continue this work and be in struggle with the people. There are cases that I supported that I probably wish I probably didn't support. There are statements that I made that I probably wish I didn't state. But when you are a high-profile activist, freedom fighter, a foot soldier in the civil rights movement, sometimes you don't have the luxury to pick and choose if you're going to stand up for this case or that case. Sometimes we got to do stuff we don't want to do. There have been times when I've gotten involved with certain stuff that I probably should not have gotten involved with. Things that I've spoke on that I probably should not have spoke on because it may turn some people against you. But I believe in being moral. I believe in being ethical. And sometimes, whether we want to do something or say something, sometimes you got to do it whether you want to or not. And you got to roll the dice. And no, everyone's not going to like you. Everyone is not going to receive you well. Sometimes when you go into someone else's city, they'll be jealous of you. You dress nice. You smell good. You're clean shaven. You got nice polished shoes. Your tie is crispy. Your shirt is all white. You got a nice suit on. Your Jordans are clean. You know, certain people may not receive you well because you're doing the work that they asked was supposed to be doing prior to your arrival. And now you're showing them out. You're making them look bad. Let's talk. So in Toledo, I had defended a brother. His name is Shannon Wilson. Shannon Wilson was a homeless brother. Shannon Wilson was a brother that was stuck on drugs, that had an alcohol problem as well. He had stole 2 bottles of alcohol from the Bancroft liquor store. Y'all remember that a couple years ago? He was beat, chased up. First of all, when he stole the liquor, ran 4 blocks up the street. The Arab store owners got into a truck. Some were standing up on the back of the truck, and they chased his brother 4 blocks away from the store with guns. When they caught up to him and got the liquor bottles back, they beat him with a tree branch, not even a stick, a tree branch. They beat him as if he was in a third world country caught stealing. And I said, no way in hell will I tolerate it. No way in hell will I stand for it. Justice is justice. They got their bottles back. What they should have done is call the police. But they had no right to chase his brother up the street with a gun. That's what the news failed to report. They had no right to beat him with a tree branch. That's what the news failed to report. It was because of the video that I posted. The video went viral thanks to my sister Erica and her daughter. And thanks to Erica's husband at the time, because that brother could have possibly been killed if they didn't stop it. When they gave me the video, when I saw the video, I made the video go viral. Immediately, the very next day, I took it upon myself to go with my brother named Treese Gotti. We went up to that liquor store and I filmed it and held those motherfuckers accountable for beating a black man over some stolen merchandise that they had insured already, and that the merchandise that they already got back. So I held them accountable and they thought it was a joke. They disrespected me and my brother. So what I said is, fuck it. You're not going to come into a black neighborhood, profit off of my people, and then still yet mistreat us. And then when we trying to talk to you to resolve this, you basically told me, fuck me, and you put your hands on me and assaulted me. And not only did you assault me, but you assaulted my brother, Treese Gotti. So there's consequences behind that. When I went live on Facebook, when the disrespect happened, brothers said, you know what? We riding with Sir Maejor. Bunch of brothers pulled up. And we immediately, I told the clerk, I said, and the owner, I said, we shutting this motherfucker down. And God damn it, I mean every word of it. We were shutting that bitch down. Shutting it down. We did that all the way after Christmas, or all the way after New Year's Eve and everything. And the store owner will come out and try to talk to me by myself. They offered me money. They offered me to just go away. They offered me money. I declined. I protested some days, a lot of days by myself, in the rain, in the snow, in the blizzard. I was there. I had black women coming out supporting this. I had my brothers from the hoods coming out supporting what we were doing. Shout out to my brother Doobie. Shout out to everyone that came out and shut down that liquor store with me, because it ain't I, it is we. But fact is, majority of the time, I was out there by myself. That's what a leader does. Damn whatever they say about me, that's what a leader does. You got to make sacrifices. You got to be uncomfortable. You got to be unafraid. You got to be bold. You got to be fearless. You got to be unapologetically black. to do this type of work. Everyone in the community was spreading rumors. Sir Maejor's being paid a lot of I think the word was $10,000 not to protest. He took a bribe. That ain't true, because I didn't stop till them bitches got shut down. It was because of my video and my persistence that the news eventually started to cover the story that they refused to talk about. The news refused to cover the story for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. They only started covering it because I had some big people in the back in government helping me. So I had meetings and phone calls with some big people that says, yes, I agree with you. I'm going to help put the pressure to get the place shut down. Guess what? The state came in to the liquor store and yanked their liquor license, took their liquor license. When the store clerks thought it was a joke, would come out and tease me and make fun and hire. But I got Toledo police officers paid because they had to hire off-duty officers. Officer Russell, you owe me a kickback, brother. Officer Russell, you owe me some money for this because I got you paid, brother. Officer Russell and the other officers that were doing the off-duty job or projecting, y'all, they'll tell you. The police were hired for, I think, about a week. The state ended up taking all those liquor bottles out of that store and sending it to another store. They took their liquor license. So now the store lost a lot of business. Now, while I was protesting this liquor store, there were coons coming up there. There were clowns coming up there, spending money with the enemy on purpose just because Sir Maejor said, shut them down, they got to go. So when the story went viral, it was all over the news and people were covering the story and talking about it, I was the talk of the town for a long time. So then, of course, you're going to have these sellouts coming up to the liquor store trying to be seen and trying to be funny, okay? I didn't let that shit bother me. I kept going. I stayed to the agenda, and the agenda was to shut them down. Why? Because they got to go. And it worked. It worked. Now that liquor store is selling the building because they lost all their business. I want somebody to drive by the Bancroft liquor store right now. Drive by the Bancroft liquor store right now or sometime this week. And I want y'all to take some pictures and tag me in it. Tag me in it. Leave a very nice positive comment and tag me in it when you go by that liquor store. Okay? Now, everyone said you couldn't shut down that liquor store. Everyone said it was impossible. They said they got Arab money. You ain't going to be able to go against them. I didn't give a damn what the naysayers said. I kept sticking to what I believed in. Long story short, they ended up getting shut down and lost their liquor license. Phenomenal, right? There were a bunch of issues that happened in Toledo involving police and children's services and CSB cases, which is like child protective services. I defended and represented a lot of families, over 1,000 people in Toledo. Whether it be behind the scenes, whether it be making phone calls, whether it be writing letters, I did shit for free. Now, when I started to get abused by people in Toledo, I started to say, I got to get compensated for my time. For my time. Because I can't allow you to abuse me and use me and drain all my resources. So, at some point, I started putting a cap on it. And I said, you know what? If you really need me, because I would do a lot of work for people and get shitted on. Like I defended Romir Cavett, the young brother that was hit by young high school kid over at Rogers High School that got ran over by a white lady named, I forget the lady's name, but he got ran over. Alicia Kamudi. And I was working that case. I was doing a phenomenal job. And I had an attorney ready to take the mother's case. We were waiting on Toledo police to finish up with their investigation. I get a phone call from Atlanta from the mother. I won't say her name. But the mother called me, shitting on me. Thank you for not getting my son justice. Toledo police just announced that they're not going to do nothing and arrest the woman that ran over my son. It's your fault. It's all your fault. And you can tell she was emotional. And she dogged me, cursed me out to the core. I'm like, damn, man, that's not good. You got a mama calling you and cursing you out. So I was hurt. I'm like, damn, man, I gave it all my all. But what the mom didn't know, just because the police said that they weren't going to arrest a woman, don't mean that she didn't have a good civil suit. She had a lawsuit against the woman. And I had an attorney, a white attorney, that wanted to pursue the civil litigations on behalf of the mother. So the attorney, we just waiting to see, we got to wait for the police to get done with their investigation before we just file the suit. So when the mother started acting like that and dogging me and shit, I said, you know what? I'm just going to fall back. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm just going to fall back. I had a conversation with the school district on getting them to cover the funeral burial cost. Had a conversation with the funeral home not to just do anything with the body, to hold the body. I'm going to get this covered, and I'm working stuff out in the back door. I've had meetings with the superintendent. We had a contingency plan. But when a mom called me being all reckless and getting all crazy with me, I fell back. And I notified the parties that I wasn't no longer involved with, because when you're on a case and you're no longer in the case, you have to make people aware. So I'm no longer involved. And I had to respect that, and hopefully she gets her an attorney and she's able to, move the pieces forward. But I had to fall back off that. I really believe Romare Cabot deserves justice, and I pray that he gets it. So with that, so when you do these cases and you are high profile, everyone's not going to like you, and I understand that. I get it. Everyone ain't going to like you. I'll talk about another case real quick. There was a woman named Sarah Lee. Her name is Sarah Lee on Facebook. That's not her real name. I forget her real name. Her name is Cheryl Alexandria, out of Defiance. Cheryl Alexandria. This is a case that I did last year. Sarah Alexandria calls me and she says, hey, my daughter was called a monkey. I want to go ahead and hire you or get you on board with this case. I said, where did this happen at? She said, Defiance, Ohio. Mind you, I live in Toledo, Ohio, and I don't drive, okay? So let's let that be known. So Cheryl Alexander calls me, and I said, what was the issue again? She said, my daughter was called a monkey, and we've been having so many problems at this school, and this Defiance is really racist. So I said, all right, well, let me get back with you. I started doing my research and verifying the information. I asked her who the alleged teacher was, and she told me, and I verified all the stuff because I want to make sure I wasn't being set up. Just because somebody call you and tell you something happened don't mean you got to go with everything. You got to vet the information that comes to you. So I vetted the information. So I said, all right, well, if you want, there's going to be a cost associated because I don't do stuff for free. I got to be able to get to you, at a cost. And so I said, well, you want to cash app something? She said, no, I'd rather give you the money in person. I said, all right, well, okay, if that's what you want to do. So I took my boy Had Mac, also known as Ron Gooseby. That's my right-hand man. Me and Had Mac went to Franklin Park Mall, and we met with Miss Cheryl Alexandria. We met with her daughter, and we met with the grandmother. Off rip, and I record everything. Every meeting I have, I record. So, and I pay a lot of money for storage for all my recordings, okay? I record everything. So anyways, I'm meeting with this mother, Miss Cheryl Alexandria, who goes by the fake name on Facebook, Sarah Lee. And Sarah Lee, I said, listen, we came out with the number $500 for me to be able to, go back and forth and handle this matter. Okay? We get to, Had Mac was sitting right there. If you don't believe me, talk to Ron Gooseby or Had Mac Gooseby on Facebook. He can verify everything. I immediately told the mother, in person, like I told her on the phone, that I am not an attorney. It's all over my Facebook. You can search my Facebook page or look at the bio section. I am not an attorney, okay? I don't practice law. I'm not an attorney. I'm an activist. There's a difference. I'm a rabble rouser. I get justice. I'm no different than Al Sharpton, okay? Jesse Jackson, okay? I'm an activist with a big motherfucking mouth. Now, with all that said, met with the mom. Called one of my guys on the phone just to make sure that we were doing everything ethically and everything else. And the mother gave me an envelope with $500 in it. Now she'll lie to people and tell her she gave me $1,500. I ain't got no reason to lie. If she gave me $1,500, I would have told you. It was only $500. I mean, I was only dealing with a school district who called a black girl a monkey. This was not a legal case. It was not a case in court. It wasn't a case where she required an attorney. This was just a case where her daughter was called a monkey, and she wanted a celebrity activist, myself, to go up there and deal with it. The mother at the time didn't know that I recorded the conversation. Head Mac knew. Head Mac and I, we met with the mother. We decided on when was the best day to go up to Defiance. And we drove up to Defiance. Ron Gooseby drove. And we went to Defiance. And when we went to Defiance, we met with the mother. She was out in the parking lot. She was there with a white man who they drove in separate cars. So I walked up to the mom's car when she called me that she was there. And next you know, a white guy started approaching with some sunglasses, started approaching behind us. And I'm thinking automatically, this is the police. He looked just like a cop. So I said, Ron, I said, hey man, watch out behind you. There's a cop right there. She said, oh, no, he's not a cop. He's with me. I said, oh, okay. I was trying to figure out what was the connection because I want to figure out who everyone is and who. I don't just attend meeting with people and not know who the hell they are. Okay? So she was like, oh, he's just with me. This is my support system. And she kind of winked like that was her sugar daddy. The mother kept telling me money wasn't the issue, money wasn't the issue. And I'm like, why do you keep saying that? I never put two and two together that they were trying to set me up. Okay? The guy that was with her was a detective. He was a police officer in Defiance. Or either somebody with the state. So anyways, we go into the school. And we're waiting. The principal already knew who I was. It's like they already knew that I was coming. And the principal had us sitting in the lobby. The principal was very respectful, very reasonable, and so was the secretary. Okay? So, with that said, I told the mother, I don't know if she remembered this, but her and her daughter were acting a little crazy or whatever. And I said, listen, you got to keep it professional because, you know, we want them to take us serious. And I'm recording. So everything that you're saying, I'm recording. I told the mother and I told the white guy, the detective, that was acting like he was her boyfriend. We go into the meeting and I arranged where I wanted everyone to sit because I was recording it. So I had the daughter sit next to me, the mother sit next to her daughter, Head Mac, and then the detective sat across from the room. And I couldn't understand why he wouldn't be part of the family. Okay? So, we're sitting in a room, meeting with the principal. And immediately, I told the principal asked me who I was. I said, my name is Sir Maejor. I'm an activist. Before we get started, I want to put it on the record that I am not an attorney. I said that multiple times throughout my conversation with the principal and in front of the mother. So we talked to the daughter, the student, talked about what happened, and the daughter, whenever I talked to the principal, I was really checking. I was putting this principal in his place. But I was doing it with taste and with class and with respect. But I was telling him, we're not going to tolerate this. We're not tolerating it. And the way I was talking to the principal, the student and the mother ain't never seen nothing like it. They bust out, they in there laughing, cracking up, and I'm looking at them with this evil eye, like y'all need to chill out because we trying to get you some justice, but y'all think this shit funny. So it's either A, you think this is, you think it's a joke, or B, you trying to get justice. But y'all can't be sitting here like, when you dog somebody, they be like, ooh, and they bust out laughing. That's what they were doing, and they weren't taking this shit serious. So me and the principal, we had an understanding, and we set up another meeting to meet back together, all of us. So, and again, Head Mac Gooseby was in that meeting. And if you want to verify with the Defiance High School principal, call him up and ask him. But I got the recording of that meeting. So next thing you know, the mother had called me and she had informed me that her daughter had got arrested in the school like a week later. And I'm like, well, why did your daughter get arrested? She was like, something happened. I forget, the police did something to her daughter, or arrested her daughter. Her daughter is out of control. That's the first thing to know. Her name is, I forget the student's name, and the student's name is not important. But the daughter is obnoxious. She's a little badass kid who ain't never had an ass whooping. And then what she did is she ran to her mother. Her mother knew to contact me, and they thought that they can try to run some small time game on me. I knew her daughter was an asshole in school. I knew it. But at the end of the day, calling a student a monkey is not okay. Okay? Now, with that, the daughter went to jail. She was arrested and went to jail. And the mother started texting me like, my daughter got arrested. I said, okay, well, you need to get you an attorney or something like that. And so then when she felt like I was supposed to do both of these issues for the same thing. And I'm like, no, it's two different issues. And I've already got that, the first matter, I got that resolved. I got it resolved. So the mom started hitting me up about, well, what happened to the second meeting with the principal? I said, I reached out to the principal. He won't return my calls and won't email me. I said, I don't know what else to do. So the mother got mad. And then when she got mad, she got on Facebook and started spreading rumors that she paid me $1,500. I told her I was a lawyer, blah, 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 which is completely false. If you don't believe me, ask Head Mac Goolsby. His name is Hedmac. Last name is Goolsby. Ask him. He was in all the meetings. Okay? So, her name is Sarah Lee. It's Sarl. Last name is Lee. She was the one lying, saying that she paid me $1,500. First of all, for you to pay a person $1,500 just to go to a school because your daughter was called a monkey, this is not a legal case. It wasn't a case where your daughter was charged in that incident. She wasn't arrested for that. This idea that you paid me $1,500 is bullshit. You paid me $500, and that was to travel from Toledo to Defiance. Remember, you were saying money ain't an issue? Now, we got the recordings. What the mother did was, unbeknownst to me, came down to Toledo and started going to the courthouses and telling court administrators and different deputies and different attorneys and judges that I told her that I was a lawyer and I took her money and won't refund her money, that she's filing a bar complaint and all this stuff. Look, do what you got to do, boo. Do what you got to do. But if you believe I stole your money, sue me. That's what I told her on Facebook. Sue me. If you stand that firm that I stole your money out of $1,500 and you, first of all, that you paid me $1,500 and I won't give you money back and I didn't deliver, sue me. I encourage you to sue me. My attorney is Sarah Driftmeyer. File some action and send it to her and we'll deal with it. I beg her to sue me. I never ever beg somebody to sue me. I want Sarah Lee or AKA Alexandria, Cheryl Alexandria, I want you to sue me. Sue me in court. Take me to federal court. The reason why she won't sue me is because she knows she's a liar. Second of all, she has no receipts. And I wrote her out a receipt for the $500. Third of all, and I signed it with the name activist Sir Maejor. Now, but I beg her, I encourage her to sue me. Sue me. She can't, you know why she won't sue me? Because she know I got those recordings. She know I got the recordings. And she know that principal won't lie. The principal that I checked for her, she know he ain't gonna lie. That's why she wouldn't sue me. It's one thing to say anything on Facebook or type it on the internet, or you can say anything about somebody, but prove it in court. Get a conviction. Everything in court is public record. Get a disposition. And put the paperwork online. It's like when you go to prison. You got to show your, what they tell me, like T.I. said, you got to show your paperwork. Show the paperwork. If I finesse you out of 15, show the paperwork. Thing is, she won't because she can't. And I had witnesses. So, I've done a lot of cases in Toledo, about 1,000 cases in Toledo. Worked my ass off on cases. And majority of those cases were for free. Now, there are a couple cases that I did for people that I'm still working on. I'm not done. We're still resolving those cases. I'm doing something with the Port Authority and doing another case with another sister, Shatara. I'm working with Shatara. Those are the only two outstanding cases I got with people. The only two outstanding cases that I'm still working on. Okay? Let's talk about my most recent arrest, since that was brought up. I went to a gas station called the Pilot Flying J. It's located on Alexis Road in Toledo, Ohio. When my brother Headmac called me, people say Headmac got you in trouble. Well, Headmac know how I am. My boy Dewey told me not even to deal with that, and I said, nope, I'm going to handle that ASAP. So while I was protesting one gas station, I was done wrapping up, and I went over. I got these pictures sent to me of this racist. It was 3 black dolls, racist dolls, hanging up from a ceiling by their head. And I went over to the gas station. Now, I was told that they were supposed to be taking those dolls down, but by the time I got there, they were still up there, and I was outraged. And I went in there on a fuse. I was pissed. I made sure that I took my gun off, because I took my gun off. I didn't want to go in there acting crazy with a gun on, because I knew I was going to lose it. I had already lost it. So I left my gun and it's secure. I had my bulletproof vest on. I go into the gas station. And I say, and the gas station knew, when they hung those 3 dolls up, they knew that I was going to be over there because I was the talk of the town about gas stations in Toledo. So they had posted these racist dolls up, trying to bait me to go, and I fell for the bait. I fell for it. And I'll tell you before I even get started, my conduct in that video, I could have handled that thing differently. I should have handled it differently. But because I am who I am, I'm unapologetically black. I'm a black man, and I won't stand for no bullshit. Go in there. And I told them to take that bullshit off the fucking wall. Take that shit off the wall. They had 3 black dolls hanging by their head from the ceiling, posted in the window. And when you walk into the gas station, on another side of the wall, they got an American flag hanging up. Why are 3 black dolls hanging from a window, from a ceiling? Why are they in the window at a truck stop? For all places, a truck stop. I'm working myself up now. I was pissed. I told them to take that bullshit off the wall. They thought it was a joke, and they wanted to play naive and act like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So I pulled the doll's leg down. Pull the doll down. And I told them to take the rest of them down. And they tried to act like they didn't know what the fuck was going on. So they called their supervisor. He's in here, blah, blah. They already knew who I was, because it was to bait me, and I fell for the bait. I said enough's enough with this shit. I'm tired of it. So with that said, the police were called. They said, we're called. I said, call the motherfucking police. I don't give a fuck. Y'all gonna take these dolls down. That's what the fuck I do know. Police came. I was arrested. Now, I really didn't expect to get arrested. But my mom said, how'd you think you wasn't gonna get arrested? You know, sometimes I can be a little naive. I was arrested for criminal damage. I said, how I get arrested for criminal damage? First, they said the arrest is trespassing, because I didn't leave when they told me. And they said disorderly conduct. I expected those are realistic charges. But then when I get to jail, they added another charge, criminal damage. I said, how? They said because when you pulled the doll down, the hook that it was hanging on broke, which is bullshit. So I said, all right, well, whatever. I get arrested, I go to jail. I get out literally an hour later, thanks to my attorney and Tina Butts. I love y'all. But shout out to my attorney, Sarah Driftmeyer. So anyhow, long story short, I get out, and I had, the case was pending in court. We go to trial, which was last month, and I pleaded not guilty because I didn't break anything. I did admit that I pulled the shit down. I did admit that my conduct was a little unbecoming. I was found guilty. I pleaded no contest, I'm sorry, and found guilty by a judge. And the store said that they didn't want any restitution, and they said that they just don't want to come back to the store. Cool. Judge sentenced me, Judge Connolly, who was a very good judge and a fair judge. I believe the judge over-sentenced me, but, I'm political, I'll take it. I was sentenced to house arrest for 7 days, actually 5 days. And took it like a champ, and, I guess I got some street cred now, right? House arrest, right? That's the longest I've ever been in jail. But I've never been in jail longer than 2 days, physical jail. Because I'm not a criminal. I don't do criminal shit. I'm not of the criminal element. I'm an activist, and I stand tall on my activism. Now, As you get older, you learn. You find out that you can keep running up against a brick wall. I want to be strategic when I'm doing my work. So in order to be effective, you can't be sitting in jail every weekend. So I had to change up how I handle stuff. I had to change up how I speak to people, how I deal with certain stuff. And I can honestly say that I've gotten better. I've improved, and I'm still learning. I'm still gonna make mistakes. I'm still gonna ruffle feathers. That's what activism is. Last time I checked, it took activism to change laws, the laws that we have today. Because I remember a time when black people were slaves. I remember a time when women didn't have the right to vote. I remember a time when you couldn't drink from the same water fountains. I remember a time when black folks had to get up out of their seat and sit at the back of the bus. It took activism to change racist laws. It took activism to stand up for the marginalized communities. It took activism to stand up for LGBTQ rights for folks of those communities. It took activism to get shit moved in this country. It took activism to get new legislation. So while I'm not opposed to everything I've done, I don't condemn everything I've done, I think that I could have handled things differently and better and more strategic and been more effective. But yes, sometimes hooping and hollering and shut them down and protesting and being loud and boisterous, sometimes that is required. Sometimes being an Eric Masonist is necessary. But if we want to truly be effective, you got to be strategic in your approach. And I agree and I admit that sometimes all of my approaches are not the best way. But I'm not going to shut up by calling out white supremacy. I'm not going to shut my mouth on calling out things that are wrong. That makes you upset, then so be it. It's between you and your God. I'm unapologetic with this work. Last I checked, they talked about Farrakhan and called him all types of names. Racist. When he talks about Jews, they call him, what's that word they call them? People, when you talk about Jewish people, I forget it, it's tip of my tongue. Anti-Semitic. The ADL has labeled the Nation of Islam, the entire Nation of Islam. Regardless if they're good people, they talk about religious leaders all the time. They talk about Jesus. I understand I ain't supposed to be liked by everybody, because if you like by everybody, then I'm going to start to question you. If you an activist ain't never been arrested, I'm going to start to question you. So yes, I ain't perfect. I ain't perfect. So when I move into a city and I'm trying to do good work that I believe that I can make an impact on, and you start to see all this hate speech going around, speech on people trying to criminalize and demonize you based on a past arrest that ain't even in a conviction, it's a little disheartening. It's a little discomforting. But let me tell you, it ain't going to stop me at all. Because I didn't become Sir Major by being unapologetic. I didn't become Sir Major by being afraid and timid. I see, but so I felt a little compelled to give this little video to let you have a little better insight on half of the shit I've been through, sacrifices I've had to make. I've gone broke trying to help people. People that backstab me and turn their backs on me. People that lied on me. I didn't help people and their children. Taking care of their child and taking care of different members of and been backstabbed. Folks lied on you, filed police reports. Yeah, I've been through it all. I've been through a lot. And one thing I do believe in self-care, and I've been talking to a lot of my friends and colleagues about getting a therapist. Because when you go through this type of shit, oh yeah, of course you need a therapist. Of course you need that self-care. Of course you need self-care. But there are going to be folks right now trying to vilify me. Oh, he's an informant. He's a government agent. Let me tell you something. A cop impersonator. Let me tell you, cop impersonation carries a maximum sentence, a maximum mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years. I was arrested 4 times for it. They only report 3. You mean to tell me I ain't never spent a week or a month or years in prison? A judge, if I was convicted for impersonating a police officer, I'm guaranteed to go to prison. That's guaranteed. They said I impersonated the FBI. They said I impersonated the FBI. Now, if I impersonated the FBI and all these cops, I need a goddamn Oscar. I need to have my agent get me an Oscar. I need a movie Academy Award. I need an Academy Award, an Oscar, a Tony's, a Global Award. I need something, because if you're telling me that I can convince an entire security team, the state police, into believing that I was an FBI, that's a federal offense to impersonate the FBI. That's a federal offense. You mean to tell me the FBI never came and knocked on my door? You mean to tell me I wasn't charged with a federal crime? Really? You expect the American people to believe that I've never been in contact with the FBI? Secret Service didn't come to my house. I was never found guilty on any offense. So how, the question is, how did, I don't know, I don't care who you think you is. Secret Service or the FBI coming to your house. They're going to charge you with something. Damn the cop impersonation charge, damn the little state in the police cases. The FBI, I impersonated allegedly the FBI. You mean to tell me the FBI never came to knock on my door? Never pulled me into an interrogation room? You know why they didn't? Because it never happened. But the media is not going to come and say it didn't happen. The media is not going to, come on, like the media has an agenda. So if we can discredit or smear Sir Maejor, then damn it, let's do that. It's easy to hate on somebody that's doing the work that your ass should be doing. Thing about Sir Maejor is, Sir Maejor gonna do the work. You can talk about me all day long, make up rumors all day long. You can spread the most nastiest, foulest rumors you want, but it ain't gonna stop me from doing this work. They created several fake Facebook groups about Sir Maejor. Hate groups about Sir Maejor, spreading all type of nasty rumors and lies. And guess what? I gotta sit there and I see it all. I sit there, I look at him like, damn, that's fucked up. But you gotta move on. You can't dwell on the past. We talking about 6 years. This shit is all 6. Everything we talking about is over 6 years. Cop impersonation charges 6 years ago, and we still talking about it. Now, I called my agent. I said, hey, we need to do a press conference. We need to speak out on this stuff and get my side of the story out. I was advised not to do it, not to speak out on it. They said, because if you don't water it, it won't grow. Tina Buss also taught me that. If you don't water it, it won't grow. If you don't give it attention, it ain't going to be a big story. So I chose to ignore shit. And when I decided to ignore it, the news said, okay, well, he ain't responding like we want him to. So we're going to do another story on him. We're going to have another story. And even when they reported it, it was already 6 months old. It was when the news did their stories, the case was already dismissed 6 months prior to the story being aired. So you got to look at people's agenda. But I ain't going to keep explaining myself. That ain't what we're going to keep doing in 2020, 2021. You can believe what you want to believe, but you ain't going to stop me. You ain't going to bully me. You ain't going to intimidate me from doing this work, because we're going to keep doing that. I was born to do this. Right now, my intent, I moved to another city, and we're working. I came here to get enrolled in school. It's a school with a very good criminal justice program that I'm desperately trying to get into. So I came out here for school. I have 1 year to complete my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Now, you can't, for anybody that's intellectual, anyone that's smart, you can't just major in criminal justice without having a background check done. So if you go to a prominent school, you go to a good school, they do a background check. Even an online school, they do a background check to make sure that you're able to even complete the program, because they want to make sure you get hired. So if you were arrested for a felony, such as impersonation or gun cases, and you had a conviction, you wouldn't be able to allow to major in criminal justice, let alone be able to go to law school. So after I complete my last year in bachelor school, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to school to be a lawyer. Now, never have I ever told anyone I was a lawyer. I wouldn't do that. Now, that is impersonation, and that is also a felony in any state you go to. Never told anyone I was a lawyer. Everyone knows that Sir Maejor is an activist, an advocate, a spokesperson, a publicist or an investigative reporter. Thing is, when you've done stories on people that don't like you, they'll say anything about you. You know, so I just wanted to give you guys this little insight. Hope that this is a clarification. If anyone have any questions or wants me to double down on something, but yet, you know, I'm not just answering anybody's question, but if we're moving a city forward, or if we're doing some good work in the community and you just want to double down on a few questions, feel free to inbox me. We can chop it up and have some good game. But I hope that you guys were able to get a little insight on this. And hopefully we can move forward. I love you guys. I ain't perfect, but I want y'all to be safe because I'm going to keep doing this work. Ain't nobody going to stop me. If the government didn't stop me, if you imagine getting poisoned by some cops, bunch of cops getting poisoned. Imagine getting set up and framed by this government. Imagine being lied on and rumors being spread about you. Fake Facebook pages being created about you. People creating Facebook accounts and acting like they're me. Yeah, that's been happening. People creating these Facebook pages and acting like they're activists or that they're really for the community, or they call themselves Toledo United or different organizations, or you're being slammed and dogged and shitted on in these political groups. Or you get dogged at the microphone. Somebody takes the microphone and starts speaking at the microphone, and you sitting in the room and someone calls themselves trying to blast you and they got a criminal history their damn self. I take it in and I take it in strides. I know that this is a political world. I know that the city I'm in is a tough city. But we gonna keep doing this work, goddammit. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Peace.